This picture is of the actual adjustments we're making with the ShotCam camera. And I put this up first to let you know that there's a glare on the screen. It's hard to avoid that when you have the camera on tripods and you have one camera in one hand and making adjustments with the other, and the light from the sun is behind you. So just to let you know that that's natural when you see that. We have two tripods set up so I can look at the shot cam at the same time. So here's a place for me to set up the shot cam once I get the gun set up and the two tripods, get it lined up. Here we're getting set up to sight in the Weatherby, and I'm going to try to come in close and see if I can't get this lined up. Just line the gun up with the two tripods to the center of the pattern board. And then I'm going to calibrate the shot cam to that center. And right now I'm going to push this one, which is a shot cam, connecting to the shot cam, and it's actually connected right now, and it's ready to be calibrated. Okay, we're set up, pointing at the target, gun is unloaded, camera's on, Wi-Fi is on, and I'm going to adjust the reticle, and I'm going to be able to do that, I think, right in front of the camera. I have to push this button down here first to get the arrows to show up. Now the arrows are showing up. I'm going to bring that reticle over. Moving it over there. That's about centered. It's moving a little bit too much. There we go. It overshoots a little bit if you hold it down. And bring it back up. And if I hold it too long, it goes too far. Up. Get close. Have to be patient one at a time. And I'd say that looks pretty good. Give you a view of that. I might go to the left a little bit. There we go. So I'd say we've got this reticle lined up with the target. The gun is in line. Everything should be ready to go. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to load up the gun and we're going to shoot. And then I'm going to turn the camera on to start recording. I've already got it set for a double barrel shotgun, so when I cock the gun over, it activates the camera. So now we're going to get safety off on the higher upper barrel. Second one. Third one. This will be the fourth one. Okay, what we have here is the pattern board with the pattern on it. This is the 30-inch circle. This is the 24-inch circle. We'll be talking about those all throughout the session today. And this is what I refer to as a 100% view. And we're going to be looking at this as we approach the trap station and the location we're shooting from to show you how small this looks once we get there. The way I was able to look at the percentages was I took a slice out of this picture. Here's the slice, there's another one down below. So this slice is 100% size. You see this slice, I moved it from here to here, and in order to get that to fit down here, it's at 20% size. And we're starting to walk towards the trap station. Okay, now we're at 10%, getting closer to the trap station. And the further we get away from the board, the smaller everything looks, of course. Now we're at 4%. I had to reduce this to 4% size in order for it to fit. Here we are at 2%. Now we're pretty close to where we're shooting from, and that size is 1.5%. Okay, I took a view with the camera right on what the gun barrel looks at, the ventilated rib here, and it shows, in order to get this to fit on here properly, it's at 7%. But that's with the camera making adjustments also. So the problem is when you're at this size, 7% or 1.5%, that clay bird is actually behind the bead. And this is for a 50 point of aim. So the problem is, and that's the systemic problem, if you want to call it, of trap shooting, and that is if you shoot right at the bird, you can't see it. So you need to make an adjustment using the pattern board so that you can actually see the bird float above the bead of your gun. Okay, here is a view of the target that has been shot at. We had a 12 gauge, 4 shots. There's 1,845 pellets total shot at this pattern board at 40 yards, 30-inch circle. A full choke is designed to place 70% of those pellets, or 1,292 pellets, inside that 30-inch circle here. That's why I went with the 30-inch circle. Here's a view of what actually, you can see actually the pellets, the holes in the clay pigeon. This is a picture, the picture that's on the patterning board, this is actual size. So this from here to here is 4 1/8 inch in diameter. So if you look at those 12 gauge, 4 shots and so on, I counted 19 hits into the bird, and 19 hits makes this about 1%. About 1% of those pellets actually hit the bird, and this is with a 50-50 hit. So pretty well symmetrical all the way around this patterning board. Here's a view, 4 views actually, of how you would hold your gun during the time that you're doing your patterning. So if you wanted to shoot at a 50-50 pattern, you wouldn't see much of, like here, the top of the rib, wouldn't see much of the top of the rib. You just see your bead. If you drop your gun down a little, bring the comb down off your cheek, a little, about 1/8 of an inch, you'll get a 60-40 pattern. Drop it down some more, or maybe 1/4 of an inch, you'll get a 70-30 pattern. And then the last example here is drop it down even more. You'll get a 80-20 pattern. In all these cases, the bead is centered on the target, and the pattern therefore goes above the target. Here's an example of the same thing in graph form. The blue represents the target. There's the same target all the way across, and the same centering of the bead on those targets. And then the dropping of the back of the gun with the comb. Here's a 1/8 of an inch drop. Here's a 1/4 of an inch drop. This might be a little more than a 1/4 of an inch drop to give you an 80-20 pattern. Another way to do that is if you have a gun that has a center bead, and that's what this little white circle is. So if I center pretty closely the front bead and the center bead, I'm going to get a 50-50 pattern. If I do close to a figure 8, where the big front bead is here, center bead is here, you get close to 60-40. If I drop it down some more, I'm talking about 70-30, drop it down some more, I'm talking about 80-20. So 80% of the pellets are going to end up off of the original pattern on the pattern board. So the other thing to remember is the more you drop the gun, the more of the ventilated rib that you're going to see. Here's another example of the same thing really here. This is a sight picture for a 30-inch circle, 40 yards. It's 36.6 meters. 50-50, a little rib showing 60-40, more ribs showing 70-30, and even more is 80-20. The way you get these down is to move that comb down to raise the barrel up. And it may be that you like, and I do, I like this position here, 70-30, because the target that I'm shooting, it's only 1.5% of the size that I have it if I have it in my hand. So it would be hidden behind this bead. So I like to see it float just above the bead when I'm shooting at the target. And I am referring to target, so yellow in a lot of the drawings that I have in the sessions, yellow is the target and red is the bird, the clay pigeon.